Welcome, it's great to have you here. Today we continue with the Ford Fiesta, focusing on plastic, specifically the black outer. We will take a closer look at it today from ADBL, Plastic Care for the Exterior. How does it look? How is it applied? What is the drying time? How does it compare before and after? Let's take a look, as there is a lot of plastic on the vehicle. And, of course, it's ultra old and not maintained at all. Let's see what a cleaning does first and what cleaning plus care brings. It will be very, very exciting. And just a little test here for black outer in the scent direction. Hot milk. Very, very cool. Let's get started. There is already a small video about black outer where I simply showed you the effect. But I want to put this part through a long-term test again. The product is supposed to prove how long it lasts on the bumper, as I also use the vehicle. I didn't just buy this to let it sit around, but of course to drive around a bit with it. This means I will also be racking up kilometers here. And with that, the product will also go into my long-term test wave on the BMW. I simply don't have these unpainted plastic parts. That's why this vehicle is ideal now. That's why I chose it. And why I chose this spot here in the front, you can see here. Look, I have a real scratch mark. And I just want to try to cover that up with the care product. We will also take a look at what happens in terms of effect when you properly clean such a surface down to the pores. This means we will leave this side over here uncleaned. We will clean over here and then tape it off again and use ADBL Blackouter here. Let's take a look. First, we clean. I have APC here from Good Stuff. Feel free to check it out. You can also dilute it again. I'm using it here at 1:4. It's a bit of product waste, but you can dilute it here 1:50 or even 1:4, for example. I'm using it pure now, just a note at this point. And we are using a tool that is simply top-notch for unpainted plastic, namely the scrub fiber. We just put a little bit on here, really just a tiny amount. Sorry, I just had to quickly answer the phone. That's why some has already been rinsed off. So now we will simply clean this surface. Let's go up to the tape. So I'll say it. Please use it diluted. It's not a problem if you use it pure once, but it is actually a concentrate. It doesn't harm the plastic or anything. But here, we definitely have a really intensive cleaning with the scrub fiber. You can also see here what dirt is already embedded. And you will also see shortly, when we really go along this edge, how much dirt this scrub fiber pulls out of this textured plastic. It's truly impressive every time. So you can see here, there is still a lot of dirt on it, even though we actually pre-cleaned it properly. Still impressive to see. And now, we will go over this. Wipe it down nicely and let it dry for a moment. And then you will see how much color is restored just through a thorough cleaning. Comes back to the material, because the so-called natural look returns as we work out all the dust and dirt that has accumulated in these small pores. We then have a completely different picture. So it's really clearly visible, especially when we undertake the whole thing. Take a look at this. So it's not massively extreme, because here we only have the clean, nice, cleaned surface, and here we have all this dirt, dust, traffic film, which has really worked its way in and does not come off with a normal wash. And we can see that very, very clearly now. I think it looks like someone applied a plastic care product, right? But this is just the clean, nicely cleaned surface. And now we take a foam applicator, shake it here, go through the blackout again, apply a little bit, and you don't have to polish it afterwards. Apply a little bit here. It's really thick. Can be easily applied on the applicator, doesn't drip down immediately, and now we can really work it in nicely here. And it's also important with the blackout, you don't have to polish it again, but just distribute it evenly on the surface, depending on the situation. As well as how the product naturally penetrates the surface and how old the plastic is. So here I like to do this again. I take another drop and really work it in nicely again. But here you can see that a second round doesn't change the look at all, because the product is now completely saturated on the surface. Let's let it air out a bit. And then we will soon see the difference. I will let it sit for another 2 to 3 hours. But we can already remove the tape. We are always super curious. And this is, of course, a very, very clear difference. Here we can see a nice difference again. Uncleaned, just washed, but of course not deeply cleaned. Here nicely cleaned and here refreshed. Of course, it's very fresh, but I believe the look will not change too much. However, we will meet again in 2 to 3 hours. And then it has also fully cured, and then we can take a look at it and also the drainage behavior. So crazy, right? The difference. And I just really like showing the difference. And that's why I want to emphasize again the importance of this deep cleaning, because it really makes a big difference. 3 hours later, you see it has settled a bit more, but not very, very much. It has slightly absorbed, but I think it looks really very, very nice and even. I think the look of the Blackout is really absolutely fantastic. You can see it here nicely even, without having polished it again with a cloth or wiped it off. Of course, here at the front we see a nice transition. I didn't put any tape here again, but just let it run out. But here it's really nice and dry. It also feels very nice and smooth. I'm curious to see if the cleaned area also has better drainage behavior. Here we really only have the cleaned surface. Look here. Oh, you can see that there are puddles forming here. Look. Here. This is just cleaned. I'll say it, folks, it is only thoroughly cleaned. Look, there is no water carpet at all. If we go over here, we can see it very clearly. And here, same pressure. Crazy, right? So you can see what a difference it makes. And even here, even if you rinse it off, it doesn't get any better. It really stays like this. And now let's go over here to the Blackouter. And there we can see very clearly, this is of course a completely different drainage behavior. A different picture. Some dust has even settled again, a very noticeable difference. But now you can see it nicely here. Really very, very nice, this plastic care. Let's adjust the water jet to a slightly larger setting here. So really very, very stylish. I like it a lot. And we can also test the drainage behavior. Boom. It's gone. Let's go to the just cleaned area. A bit slower. And here uncleaned. Clearly slower. Cleaned. Plastic care. And that's why I do these tests for you. Look, boom, how it opens up in this window. And where it is not cleaned, not slow at all. And it also stays nicely wet. Look here even, these differences. It is much darker here because the water naturally clings to these pores. And here we really have an absolutely great, quote-unquote, clean, smooth, cleaned surface. Although it is still structured, of course. Very, very nice difference. ADBL Blackout is now going into the plastic. Long-term test, very, very nice thing. Very cool result. Feel free to take a look at it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And with that, let's see how long this lasts on the vehicle. I will also drive a few kilometers here. Until next time, you can write in whether you have tried it as well. Application super easy and also such a nice, beautiful result. Go for it. Until next time, bye.